Welcome to one of the happiest days of my life as an American. Donald Trump is trying to preserve free speech. I believe free speech has been under attack like never before in my life. For him to make this announcement, I think, is the most significant thing of his presidency, probably the most useful, most American, and more important than anything else he'll do. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I hope you'll let me make my case as someone who's been a victim of many channels destroyed by anti-free speech sentiment. Let's watch.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
And at least on these social media platforms, we don't have free speech. We live in fear, cowering, hiding, switching around, worried. Every creator is worried what they'll say. That's not freedom, okay? Your brand is censorship. Your brand is totalitarianism. Your brand is bullying and manipulation. And I'm not trying to defend creators who are foul, who are evil, okay? I'm talking about normal people that just want to present two sides of political discourse, two sides of a debate about wearing masks, normal stuff. And Trump's gonna, hopefully, I don't know if he can do it, but if he is, this will be the most American thing he's ever done, because our social media platforms are doing the most un-American thing you can do with a social media platform.
That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people.
Yeah, they've manipulated and silenced my whole audience. I would love to talk to anyone at any social media company. I only have communicated with AI. So I don't even know if there's a human being that has ever looked at my accounts or even cared. They're all form letters. They often match each other on multiple channels. I can compare them and see what happens. I'm not aware that I've ever been seen. Now, the liberals who flag my channel are also anti-free speech. They're totalitarian bullies who will report your channel 20 times until some compliant sucker over at the big mothership company agrees and goes, yeah, we'll get rid of his channel. What the heck? It's just another Republican Christian.
They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens.
This, of course, terrifies all creators on the left. They're horrified at the idea that there would ever be a free exchange of ideas. You know, people like the Midas Touch guys, David Pacman, they're terrified, or Vaush, Destiny, terrified at thought that a platform would allow anyone to come in and debate, no matter how bad they are even. That terrifies the left. They do not want open microphones. They do not want a free market of ideas. They know what's right already, and they'll tell you what to think.
I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis or disinformation.
And that was one of the strikes that I got over this whole issue is misinformation, disinformation, even though what I told was the absolute truth.
And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are.
This is the ironic part of it. If YouTube implements this, it would probably save YouTube's life. It would probably make it even more competitive. It would probably make X and growing platforms like X less of a threat in the future if YouTube ever embraced free speech. I don't know if that's enough to convince them to unban my other channels, guys, but I'll tell you, it will be great for business, great for your audience, great for your country in the long run. Give me a call, guys. I'll help you out. It will help you.
Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses.
We actually have all these laws on the books that just aren't being observed that protect our free speech. But you have a government under the Kamala administration and some Republicans that have no interest in defending free speech, the rights of the people.
To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters, and we have to do this right now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship.
By the way, I already have a letter from YouTube where they apologized for removing my first channel. And they're saying, we will put it back up. And then suddenly someone else got to it, you can tell, inside, and they go, nah, we'll remove it after all. If only we could remove Section 230 so that I can address my employer, YouTube.
Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business.
Revise Section 230. That's the big one. And that would be wonderful for everyone because really Section 230 is so outdated. You know, it was risen up in the mid 90s, meant to protect these free speech platforms, to make sure that they were not prosecuted for what they hosted on their channel. But now the way that they've run roughshod on that thing needs to be revised.
From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination.
Well, they can still do business even if they don't meet that high standard. So YouTube, you're safe. You can still stay in business. You just wouldn't be able to qualify for Section 230 protection, which, you know, again, these are all just precautions to help speech. They're not the end all be all.
Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more.
You know, colleges regularly fire professors who don't believe that in the evolutionary theory. They believe in creationism. They follow the science, or they follow the science and disagree with global climate change findings and things like that. There's any number of things, because these other universities are so politicized that if Trump gets his way on this, they wouldn't receive a dime for generations.
We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country.
Well, and that's another big one. We'll see, because the government has done a workaround with ending the First Amendment, with them attacking it, because they got the companies to do it for them. So now, if the companies are treated more like a government entity, maybe they can't do so much censorship.
Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter.
And this is all responding to Elon Musk, Michael Schellenberger, guys that we've featured, Matt Taibbi. I told you guys, this was the most significant thing for free speech, which means it's the most significant thing for our country's survival.
Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed,
right here,
throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal.
my prayer is that he gets so much power in doing this, like the ability to do this. I want to put this on steroids. If he pulls this off, guys, it will save America. Nearly this thing alone, this one act alone, this one bill, this one law, this presidential order, it's going to be a presidential order, it'll go into effect on January 20th of next year, would save America. Not only that would it protect free speech, because when people are allowed to argue, they're less likely to go to violence and war. If you allow people to argue and express their opinion, you take away their opinion and suddenly all they can do is act out physically. So this could protect us from a civil war. This also is good for us artists to have free speech. It protects the arts to allow you without fear to create better without worrying about the government or a platform to shut you down. It's good for Christians to spread the gospel, where with free speech, we're more likely to be able to go into the public and spread the gospel and save people's lives. Free speech saves the country. I hope the social media networks listen and follow, especially this one, though I have my doubts. I'm Doug in Exile. Follow me on X at Doug in Exile, or you're crazy. But thank you guys for watching.